Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: people who are stopped at a red light for 1 minute but creep forward a few feet every 10 seconds. Why? I once saw a guy creep through the entire red light. At no point did he decide to just go. He just kept on creeping until he was on the other side. So he basically passed the red light, but slower. The traffic on that intersection must have been non-existent for him to pull that off without getting T-boned or honked to oblivion. It was in a rural area. Hardly any traffic. To wait faster. Fucking hell, that's a great answers. I'm more curious about people who charge up to stop sign or traffic light intersections at apparently full speed, and slam on the brakes with half the front of their car in the intersection and then look at the rest of traffic like they are surprised other people are on the road. I find a little joy when people race past me toward a red light, as I gradually reduce my speed. Then, when the light turns green, I'm cruising right past them comfortably as they floor it from a dead stop. Chances are that they'll do everything they can to pass me again, but the same thing can happen over and over again passing through some towns. Either way, that sort of herky-jerky going just seems like a stressful way to drive. It's like pressing the button harder for a more powerful attack. Yeah, but that is how you get more powerful attack. Isn't it? I can neither confirm nor deny. Because the person in front of me did it. It's like yawning. Thanks for the free yawn, king stranger. Edit, *kind*, sorry, I'm bad at typing, help. Child sleeping in car. Must not stop motion. This is the most legit reason in this whole comment section. New parent, can confirm. Some stoplights have a camera sensor or an in-road sensor to detect if there is a car. By creeping forward, the hope is that you activate the sensor, which will trigger the light to change. I thought this was the logical answer. Instead, I had to come all the way down here to find it. I have a couple of tunnel traffic lights which use magnetic fields. I'm a cyclist with a steel-framed bike, and if I keep my bike upright I have to wait for a car to come along and trigger the sensor. If the sensor doesn't trigger, it means there's a car in the tunnel coming my way. I figured out that I can trigger the traffic light by stepping off my bike, lying it down on its side across the sensor and then getting back on the bike. It works all the time, but it does make me look a little strange to pedestrians. I've heard about this from motorcyclists too, and apparently the solution is to bring your own magnet, lol. The radio station I like is 60 miles away. Sometimes when I stop it's stuck on static. I have to creep forward to find it again. Legit the only reason I'll creep, and I still hate doing that. Or some big ass dump truck has stopped besides me and fucked the radio signal, so I have to creep to find it. I take that back. I'll also creep to stay in the shadow of a big ass truck so the sun doesn't shine on my eyes. I have a buddy who does this creeping, so I decided to ask him. He said that he was under the impression that certain lights have pads in the ground that detect weight to determine when someone is actually there, so it can prioritize changing the light, and that he does it to try and make the light change faster. /__/. Sometimes looking for an angle at which I can see the signal on the corresponding lights to anticipate when I'll need to get into gear. Yes, my friend has a stick shift, and I didn't realize how much time and energy there is driving it in a city. If you drive a manual every day, shouldn't be an issue in the city. It should be second nature. Like checking mirrors. It just happens. Traffic lights and intersections aren't really anything bad in a manual. It's the moving 2 inches at a time in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the highway that takes energy and the patience of a saint. Too much stopping to just stay in a low gear and wiggle back and forth to not stall. But moving just enough that you can't get a little momentum and just coast on neutral. It's that terrible middle ground where you are constantly shifting just to go nowhere. I just want to run over the guy who stopped me. Since robots can't identify stop signs or traffic lights in capture images, maybe self-driving cars aren't such a good idea. What do you think the purpose of these capture images are? They're for training the AI so it will be able to identify those signs. Trigger the traffic light sensor. There's a street near me that has a light on the sensor. All the locals know it. If you don't drive close enough, it never triggers and you're stuck at the light forever. It sucks to be stuck behind someone and they don't realize it. Had that happen to me with an Uber driver. He was in front and he stopped a good 5 feet before the actual line where the sensor is. At first I tried to wave him forward, but he would not listen. Then I tried to honk a few times and scoot closer hoping he'd get it. Finally, when I was just about to get out and speak to him after sitting there for what felt like 5 minutes, but was probably just 2, a car the opposite side pulled up and it instantly started the light changing process and turned green. The question I have is why some people stop 30 feet before the next stopped car. Please, for the love of God, pull forward so I can get in the left-hand turn lane. Edit, y'all are giving too much credit to some of these distracted texting driver fools. Always nice to see Reddit giving strangers the benefit of the doubt though. There are driving classes out there that do teach and recommend leaving 1 vehicle length between vehicles at stoplights. But like most of the super safe driving techniques, it is seen as crazy and rude by other drivers. Best to practice those techniques on bad weather days, when the spacing and such is truly needed. I was always taught to leave enough space to see the bottom of the tires of the person in front of you. That should allow you enough space to turn and move if their car becomes incapacitated. Just playing the guessing game with myself really. Adgree, 4321 Gree. You can tell when it's going to change by looking at the lights for the currently moving traffic. Don't cheat. I don't want awkward eye contact with drivers next to me. I imagine this is how introvert drag races get started. Maybe I'm weird, but I don't ever look at the driver next to me when I'm at a stoplight. They can look at me all day and I wouldn't realize it. But don't you sort of feel their look? I inch forward trying to adjust my foot when I pressed the brake at an awkward place, like near the edge. Yup, gotta let off the brakes a little to adjust the knee angle sometimes or it's gonna be hurting the whole time I'm at the light. The longer I sit there, the more traffic is piling up behind me, and I am thinking of the person 12 cars back that would be able to make that right turn into the parking lot if only every car in front of him would close the spaces up a bit. The closer cars are at a red light, the slower the whole line takes to get back up to speed. You mean well, but your actions have the reverse effect and you slow traffic down way more. You'll find many simulation videos online to prove this point. Edit, here. Go try for yourself. https://traffic-simulation.de. Although not sure you can test this idea of cramming cars in between lights is a good idea. That might be true in circumstances where there's enough room for all cars behind you when they maintain wider spacing, but what about if it's backing all the way up to another traffic light, or in a turn lane scenario where the car in the back can't make it into the turn lane? In those cases, the best thing to do is make room for all of the cars. Especially because a lot of the time when we're talking about traffic this heavy with such closely spaced lights, the cars may not actually need to get up to speed before stopping at another light. It's a very situational thing. And then when the light turns green, they just sit there. Every time. When you're a few cars back in a turn lane and they take their sweet fucking time, then you miss the light. I drive manual transmission. If you're top at the lights you can usually see when the other light is turning red, signaling that yours is about to turn green, especially if it's a junction you're very familiar with. You're just getting the car to the bite point, ready to go. You still check in both directions before proceeding, just in case someone breaks the red light. I can't believe I had to scroll down here to get an answer. Literally everyone does this in Europe where a manual is normal. Wait, are you saying you drive manual and you do creep? For me it's completely the opposite. I stop where I need to stop and then wait for the light to change. The stop 20 feet back from where you need to be and then creep up randomly people piss me off because I either need to get in gear and pull forward or leave a huge gap in front of me. I'd be interested in people who drive normal-sized vehicles, but will still swing out in the right lane to make a left-hand turn like they are driving a semi. I've gotten into an accident because of someone doing this. It was also my fault as well. They didn't have a left turn signal on, and they looked like they were slowing to park on the right. It was a residential area where street parking is common. Assuming that was the case, I thought I would just carefully pass so I could make the light ahead. Nope. They swung right into me. Fortunately I was already going slow, so only a minor dent for both of us. The kicker was that the apron of the lot they were pulling into was as white as fucking Texas. Absolutely no reason to swing out if you're in anything but a semi. Use your fucking turn signals, people. For me, it's usually that's the guy behind me is almost on my bumper. I'll inch forward to make some space and they'll inch forward. I'll do it again and they do it again, and everyone behind them follows. The baby sleeps only if the car is moving. So the car must constantly moves. The baby does not care for red light at all. Seeing this multiple times in this thread makes me fear babies. Like goddamn. Can't even not cry just cause the car is standing still. Seems annoying. At least they don't detonate if the car goes under 50. Seems annoying. As a parent of twins, may I nominate you for Understatement of the Year. Children are irrational little tyrants without the ability to address or articulate their needs, on the rare occasions they even understand them. We were lucky that getting them to sleep never required riding around in the car, but the number of times you just need them to sleep /eat /poop /whatever so you can at least make a tiny dent in ever-growing pile of obligations, get some ease all the way through the laundry before they poop through the last clean one, you'll do whatever weird thing that reliably works. Lots of people have very specific plans about what they will or won't do as parents, but that old saw about everybody having a plan until they get hit in face is doubly true when what you just got hit in the face with is a warm stream of newborn pee. Spoiler alert, babies are annoying. Source, Dad.